This is ENT Hooligans, your entertainment hub.
With instrumentals like that, it makes me want to have a music-only type of show. What's going on, folks? I'm Baby Moy, accompanied with the whole entire house. We are all back in full effect.
For once.
And everything is nice with the world, more or less. For some, it's bad news, especially if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers went down. Collarbone messed up. If you're a Yankees fan, you're feeling mighty positive, especially after the butt whooping ya delivered last night. If you're an MMA fighter and aspiring to be in the UFC, you might want to think twice. Then again, Bellator is another option.
Yes, sir.
And if you are an NBA fan, if you love basketball as much as the next person, or as much as my colleague Austin over here, then you've come to the right place. We are ENT Hooligans, and we are bringing you SportsVista. Here, baby, here. And as usual, like I said before, we got the whole house in attendance. Not only do we have Austin in the house, we have my boy Ness, my girl Star Fox, and of course yours truly, Baby Moy. We are the entertainment hub for all. So, Austin, sir, I will give you the responsibility to tell our listeners what they can do in order to show us love and support. Take it away, brother. Stage is yours.
Well, what you listeners can do, what you can do is definitely give the videos a like, and why not comment on the video, man? I mean, I know we keep bringing this up, but man, like, nobody's commenting. It's like crickets, you know? But for real, I mean, we appreciate you guys' support. You guys can give us a subscription, subscribe to our channel, and you can share it with your friends, and share it some more, and what else is there? And put on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you go, and you know, maybe when you're having people over, be like, hey, there's this new show I want you guys to hear, and put us on when you're chilling out or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's what you guys can do to interact with us. And you can also contact us through Twitter, Facebook, at ENT Hooligans. I believe that's correct. I should know, but anyway, yeah, I know, very professional. I know. I haven't been here in a month. All right, so I gotta get back into it. But yeah, all the info, we always put it in the video. We always put the proper links in the video, so you guys can do what you need to do. And if you're on a mobile device, just expand the description and you'll get it. So there you go.
And if you want to be employed by us under the ENT Hooligans banner, remember, if you miss out a couple of weeks to a month, we will put you on the spot, as Austin here found.
Yep. I've been on radio long enough, so that's no issue. That's fine.
Welcome back, Austin. Welcome back, man. Yeah.
So guys,
welcome back.
I really have.
Before we get started with the festivities, how is everybody's weekend?
Woo!
Weekend was
pretty good, actually.
positive.
Yeah, pretty good. It was pretty positive, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Weekend was one big party for me.
Nice.
Barbecues.
Go ahead.
Woo.
It was nice.
That's always fun times.
You know, I really love these instrumentals.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're nice.
Gives us
Yes,
that nice
sir.
tropical vibe, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Necesitamos las sillas, las palmas.
La Palma. Yeah, that's right.
Wepa.
Oh, here we go.
Wepa. So, first things first.
Yes.
Where do we venture first?
Ooh.
Interesting.
And just to remind you guys one last time, we are not only are we ENT Hooligans, we are Endless Possibilities, and right now we are SportsVista, where we give you guys our vista on sports. Huh?
Yeah, where we give you guys our punto de vista on sports.
That's right.
Hey. Wow.
So I propose that, since Austin, this is Austin's first podcast back in a while, I say we start with the NBA.
I was gonna say.
Welcome back, Austin.
NBA is fine, but
Welcome back.
How about oh God, what's his name? Adrian Peterson, dude, and the Cardinals. Jesus Christ! Did y'all see that shit? Give me the language, but goodness.
Easy.
Sorry.
You know what?
He was taken to the Bucks, homie. He
All right,
was
so he wants to go
You
football
want to start?
right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Yes,
Not a problem. Yes. Adrian Peterson.
That, dude.
Adrian Peterson was traded
guy's
from the Saints
insane.
to the Cardinals.
Hey,
those who may not know.
he was not a fit for that glove that was the Saints.
No,
Right.
he did not fit what
Dude.
they did there. That they
just went right in and went bam. I'm like,
And
holy snap.
it was perfect timing for the Cardinals because they had lost David Johnson for the season, and they needed a running back.
Yeah, and I was about to say what
there you go.
a perfect replacement.
So good for him, man. He had a touchdown. He had, I believe, was it 2 touchdowns or 1?
I want to say 2 actually.
2 with
I want to say 2.
134 yards rushing, 2 TDs. Yeah,
Yes.
He
bro.
fits much better over there with the Cardinals. The Saints, yeah.
And that's the case.
He should have never gone there in the first place.
And that's the case with some players. I mean, you think they'll be a fit, but they're not, or you think they'll find some sort of readjustment, but they don't. A good case of that was with DeMarco Murray.
Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was.
The one style didn't fit the player in this case.
It's like Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer, and current FS1 analyst Chris Carter said, majority of football players are system players. Very few players can play in any system. In every
Correct.
system. Very few of them
Correct.
can.
It takes a
And
very
Adrian Peterson did not fit with the Saints.
It takes a very special type of talent to fit and adjust to all types of environments, and by environments we mean the system things.
And as my colleague just mentioned, DeMarco Murray did not fit Chip Kelly's system, and Chip Kelly did not fit the NFL. And finally, thankfully, he's no longer in the NFL. Yeah,
He didn't fit Chip's system. Chip didn't fit the Eagles system, and so on and so forth.
So he's out of there.
Exactly.
So it's safe to say that Austin, you were very impressed by AP's performance.
Well, I mean, how could you not be? I'm listening to this Bucks team on the radio. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah, he did a number on your Buccaneers, man. He did.
I mean, hey, in the second half, we tried our best to come back.
Yeah.
Speaking of coming back, how about the Dolphins and the Falcons? How about that game?
Oh my God!
Wasn't that crazy? I'm like,
folks, listen. This past Sunday was bizarre in every single way imaginable.
Yes.
And the only reason I knew about the Dolphins is because the radio, and I was like, wait a minute, they were down in the first quarter. They were getting shut out, and all of a sudden they come back and beat them. Like, wow. In their own stadium, in the Falcons Stadium.
The Super Bowl hangover. The Super Bowl hangover is real, folks. I mean, the Falcons lost that Super Bowl in the most devastating fashion I've ever seen.
And they continue going where?
Down.
Yeah.
Down
that huge slope.
Hasta abajo. Hasta abajo. That's where they're going.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But yeah, Austin, you're right. The Dolphins should not have won that game.
I know.
They should have lost.
I'm like, wow. I mean, even I was over here like, wow.
Yeah. And just as and Sunday night ended just as bizarre as it began with the Giants down the Broncos.
With the Giants not only beating the Broncos but dominating them.
I couldn't believe that either. I was like, what? I was like,
That was incredibly incredible, and also was what I foreseen as the. Listen, nobody saw that coming.
No, not at all.
That was anything but inevitable. That who in the world sat there going, "Oh yeah, the Giants have the formula to rip through this defense."
Giants fans.
That's crazy.
Besides them.
Besides them, nobody else.
They're probably the only ones.
Yeah, nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I like this. Yeah.
Wepa! Oh, I wish we could take a music block break. I'm telling you. Woo!
That'd be fun.
I like this.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, bro. Even I love this.
Yeah. It is, yes.
Oh, I'm really feeling this.
You know what?
I am too, dude.
This has like
a good day.
Johnny Pacheco feel to it.
I miss this stuff, dude.
That
Yeah.
right there. See?
Anyway, it's so easy to get distracted.
We're
feels so-
like we're like, bum.
It feels so good to come back on here and have some fun again, man.
It
It's
does,
awesome.
Yes,
man. I
it
miss
It's a great
really,
feeling.
really does.
And we're getting a crap, and we're getting a crap ton of rain over here.
You know,
Did you ever wear such good deodorant that you can't help but to put your arm to your nose to your underarm?
Women's deodorant does that, my friend. Just saying.
I'm telling you,
This particular segment is brought to you by Old Spice.
And Dove.
Shout out to Old Spice.
I just did that. I just lifted up my arm and went.
Hey, I like Old
sometimes-
Spice.
wait.
Okay.
It does happen sometimes, yeah.
So you know, let me ask management a personal question.
Yeah.
Is it a women's deodorant?
No, it's men's this time. I do wear women's deodorant though, but this time I'm wearing men's.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say it.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
And you know, he's even said that it smells better than men's.
No, I never
Ladies
said
and
I never said it smells better. I said it protects better.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, the choice of deodorant of management does not reflect the choices of the entire conglomerate.
Will you shut up?
A disclaimer right there. Ladies and gentlemen, this segment is brought to you by Women's Dove Deodorant.
Wow. All right.
Man.
Anyway,
Back to the topic. So back to the topic.
SportsVista with a little fun in between, folks. This is what we do.
Yes.
Feels good to be back in regular
we gotta
form.
make a name. We gotta,
Yes.
Guys, in regular form.
I know. SportsVista with a little bit of bounce. How about that title?
There we go.
There we
Gotta
go.
catch their interest.
That's
I
right.
just gotta-
That's right.
I just got a picture in my
With
head
a little bit
Casey
of
going
bounce.
Bounce. I don't know why.
It's got
So
So
here we go.
Aaron,
So,
I want to focus on Aaron Rodgers.
Well, before we do that, let's focus on some good news over here. As we all know, my Eagles played on Thursday night to kick off.
Get out of here! A stage left.
And we had a playoff caliber battle.
Will you hush?
The Panthers.
Will you hush? Stage left.
No, Cam.
Stage left. Stage left. Get at some. Sáquenlo de aquí. Sáquenlo de aquí, Dios mío. Sáquenlo de aquí.
Oh, I like this. Oh. Oh my God. Cántalo, compadre. Yeah.
Wow.
Ya tú sabes.
Oh man, I'm gonna enjoy this playback.
That's right.
It's nice.
Anyway,
So
get him out of here with his Eagles.
Our listeners are well aware that you are a Cowboys fan and I am an Eagles fan. So there, yeah. And obviously your team is a little disgruntled right now. They're a little bit tumultuous right now. They're a little bit in a bind right now.
Somebody clip
they're
his
in a
wings.
recession right
Somebody shut his beak. Somebody clip his wings. Clip his wings and shut his beak. Please.
I didn't know you were a bird.
Shame him. Undress him of his feathers. His little eaglet feathers.
Hey. Hey! We have flown to the top of the NFC East, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
You're gonna get clipped off of that pyramid, boy.
Boy. We're gonna get clipped off, boy. Yeah, boy. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to SportsVista Fun, but fans with a little bit of bounce.
Of course.
ENT hooligans and
yes, this is SportsVista Fun. Yes.
Yes.
Woo. Jeez.
It's been a while since we've had this much fun, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Feels great.
All right, I'll let you go on about the Eagles. Go ahead.
The Eagles, yeah.
No, that's all I have to say about that. I mean, I'm not going to kick you guys any further. Okay.
As if though you haven't pushed on enough.
That's enough. That's all I had to say about that. I just wanted to make that known. You know what I'm saying?
I ought to fire you right here on the spot.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
well, you can't do that, sir. I put the ENT in the ENT hooligans.
Oh well, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way, big up to Ray Hudson for his for his awesome announcement during the soccer game this past Saturday.
Oh boy.
Yes, that was great.
He said.
What did he say?
He said he puts the ass in class.
In pass.
In pass.
Wow.
He puts the ass in pass.
What the freak?
You know, because we're having some fun here. I want to play some Ray Hudson clips real quick. Let's
Yes. And he is a soccer announcer, and this is SportsVista. So yeah, let's play some of these sound bites. He is an entertaining commentator, to say the least.
He's so funny.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yo, could you imagine him and Jorge together? Oh my gosh.
To say that this man loves soccer would be an understatement.
Wow.
Here we go.
Messi.
Here we go, y'all.
Messi. Are you kidding me? This man is absolutely mainline to pure footballing magic that belongs in a different galaxy altogether.
Left to go in the first half.
Here we go.
Ronaldo, whose free kicks have been a bit erratic this year. Magical. This
one
drops
Are you kidding me?
It's ecstasy.
Astonishing! This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
What?
And this one deludes
What on earth?
Everybody in Real Madrid.
It seduces everybody. I want to play that back.
This is not just...
Been a bit erratic this
It's
year.
a wet dream. What?
This one.
Are you kidding me?
It's ecstasy.
Astonishing! This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions. And this one deludes everybody. It seduces everybody in Real Madrid's fan club, that's for sure. The wonder strike from Cristiano. This has got more curves to it than Jessica Rabbit on...
Wow. What? What on earth, dude? What the fuck?
Oh my
Oh
god.
dear. Oh shoot. Oh heck no. Dude.
That man is pure gold in the booth, man.
I tell you what, that alone would get me into soccer. That alone would watch soccer for.
Oh my god.
I would watch whatever he would commentate. If he
know.
were a golf announcer, I'd watch golf.
Yes,
That guy
I
is
would. I
entertaining.
would even watch golf.
I
if
would
you
too.
were-
Even baseball, dude.
He's entertaining.
I'm like, screw it.
Oh
Let's
my
watch the
god.
World Series. I'm like, screw it.
Yo, every announcer should follow his formula.
Imagine
That
like
is
the Magic
classic, man.
basketball.
Could you imagine if it was a golf announcer? Oh,
Oh
my
my.
god, it's so green. It's wet.
That's awesome. He's great. He's gold. The best.
Pure gold, yeah. Yeah.
So, you're done with your Eagles. I'm done with the
Yes,
comedy
yes.
in terms of Ray Hudson.
Oh,
Could we move on
And are
to?
you and are you also done with being envious of where you are right now because of where you are right now? Are you also done with that? No. Okay.
Okay.
There's your answer.
There's your
He's
answer.
still very envious of you.
Rock
Now
there.
you know.
Your answer's right
I would
there.
throw so many
you know.
expletives your way if we weren't on air right now.
Now you know, envy isn't good for you.
Anyway,
Thank you. See. She knows what she's talking about.
you know what? You know what, Ness? Expletive you. All right. All right. Expletive.
Expletive you, dude.
Expletive.
That's what I say about you. You expletive. No, I'm kidding. You expletive.
So Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Yes.
clean or not
Version,
clean?
let me-
Fair or not fair? What do you say?
Well, he was out of the pocket when he was hit. So
Which means you're susceptible to get hit. Yes?
Yes.
have the
Yes, sir.
protection of being a quarterback. But as a result of that hit, so that was a clean hit in my opinion. Based on that. As a result of that, he suffered a broken collarbone. Could be out potentially for the rest of the season. Wow.
Who do they have as a backup?
Brett Hundley is his name.
That's a kid, right?
Yes.
Any chance of him proving successful? What do you know? Do you know anything in terms of stats? Anything major he did?
I don't really know anything major that he did, but his chances of being successful are very minimal, to say the least, considering the people around, the squad that the Packers have built around Aaron Rodgers.
Again, that they've built around Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
And I use the term built loosely, because they really haven't done a really good job at that.
Again, if you're a Packers fan, I understand how disappointed you are because, to tell you the truth, your season rests on the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
Man, talk about the pressure's on.
I mean, granted, Aaron Rodgers has playmakers around him. I'm not gonna sit here and say he doesn't, but those playmakers are not going to be able to complement whatever supplementary they have in store.
Correct.
So, I will say this.
Wow.
And this is a very bold statement. I give a minus Aaron Rodgers Packer team a better chance of making the playoffs than a Zeke-less Cowboys team.
Yeah, you said that the other day.
Wow. Do you want to elaborate more on Zeke?
Okay. When it comes to the Cowboys, who does Dak essentially lean on? Who sets up your plays? Who sets up your passes? You know, you start every drive, or should start every drive, with Zeke. Okay, he gives you 4 or 5 yards. In spite of what everybody's saying right now, given how the Cowboys have been playing, the primary and gist of it is he gives you 4 or 5 yards, sets second down, you know, and Dak is used to, moving the ball around, but he's not used to throwing deep. He's not used to those long passes. He'll throw short, you know, to eventually convert either second or third. Without Zeke there, he's forced to play a different style of game. Not only that, we look at how the Cowboys are resilient enough when it comes to getting a lead, obtaining the lead, and holding the lead. They're not an offensive team that's meant to come from behind and steal a W. And without Zeke in play, it makes the chances of being a type of team to come back and getting the W even that much more complicated. So, I'm not saying that Dak is a bad QB, but he's not meant to be, say, like someone like Tom Brady or even Aaron Rodgers, who are able to come from behind and win and get a W for their teams. You know, they're resilient in that aspect, and they're cool, calm, and collected. So.
Yeah, and the thing about Dak Prescott is he has leadership intangibles, but the thing with him is he can lead your team, but he does not have to carry your team.
Correct.
He's not the kind of quarterback that's going to carry a team, but he can lead a team, but he's not the kind of quarterback that can carry a team on his back.
Correct. He's not someone whom you could confidently say, okay, I'm going to put this team on his shoulders and we'll be fine. You can say, I could put this team on Aaron Rodgers. You can say, I can put a team on Tom Brady. You can say, you know, if Drew Brees had a good defense to speak of, you could say, and just looking at it offensively, you could say, I could rest this team on Drew Brees. You understand?
Correct.
So,
because quarterbacks like a Drew Brees and Tom Brady, and even a Peyton Manning when he was playing, they are able to sit back and throw it 40 to 50 times a game.
Right. Not to mention, they're able to make miracles with just a minute left on the clock. Hell, you give them 40 seconds, that's more than enough time for them to drive downfield.
Yes.
Dak doesn't possess that ability.
Not only can they carry a team, but they're also clutch.
Correct. Which again, Prescott is not. As I noted, that Cowboys team, their offense is meant to maintain a lead and just push on forward. They're not meant to come from behind to steal a W.
No, not at all.
But we're, 6 weeks in?
6 weeks in, yep.
Almost at the halfway point, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out, because in sports, the truth is this. You can never say never, right? We've seen crazier things happen before.
Particularly in the NFL, you never know. In the sport of football, you never know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, that's
you think you have something
so appealing. Is it's unpredictability. You can't predict things.
You think you have the season. You think you have players and teams figured out, and on any given Sunday, flip the script.
Exactly.
So let's see. Let's wait and see what happens. I want to stay with football for a little longer. Thursday games. A couple of podcasts back, we talked about and kind of ridiculed and mocked how crappy, quote-unquote, Thursday games are. And, you know, this is one in which I'm kind of glad I was wrong. And I say kind of because in exchange for Thursday games now being good, we're now getting crappy Monday games.
Yeah, the pendulum has swung in the other direction now. Boy. And it all started with that, with what on paper was a crappy Ram versus 49ers game, which actually turned out to be one of the best an actual crazy shootout.
Exactly. Nobody expected. I didn't.
Ever since then, Thursday games have been fire, and Monday games have been.
Yeah, I mean, who do we got this Thursday?
Raiders. This Thursday night.
Chiefs and Raiders, folks. Oh my gosh.
We all know how exciting and competitive these divisional matchups are. So, yeah.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It'll be fireworks. It'll be fire. So, want to move on to some MMA?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Some MMA talk, folks. What is there to discuss in MMA? Well, there weren't really that many events this past weekend, unless you have Fight Pass and all that. You get to see some low-key type of events, but anything major, nothing to speak of.
No.
In terms of behind the scenes, very much to speak of.
Now, before we talk about the behind the scenes stuff, last week on SportsVista, we celebrated Demetrius Johnson's greatness, and because it was well deserved.
Yes.
Today, let's talk about the raw deal he got in that event. There is no way on this earth that an interim belt should be a main eventer over an actual title belt.
Never.
Title belt.
And that is why I couldn't give the event a full 10, because, in all fairness, first of all, let's look at who the champion is versus who the champion isn't. Or who the champions, you know. Demetrius Johnson, legitimate champion. You're going to tell me that holds less value than two people contesting a fake title? Because let's call it what it is. It's a fake belt. I wouldn't be proud to win interim anything. At all.
Exactly.
Wow. That's a shame.
When you have an inactive champion, the belt should be vacated, and those two guys should have fought for the real belt.
Yeah, because what has McGregor done? And I say it every time we bring this up. McGregor's done nothing to solidify himself to deserve the title, the label of champion.
Exactly.
Oh, but he won it. So that makes him the champ. And he is the champ because he wears that on his shoulder or around his waist, however you want to slice it. No. To me, a champion solidifies himself by defending. Defend or vacate, punk.
Not only that, let's back it up, okay? He didn't even deserve the lightweight that he got.
No, he didn't.
He was at featherweight before he even moved up. He was the featherweight champion, and he moved up to lightweight to fight for the lightweight belt. He didn't do anything to earn that title shot.
Well, people will say that he did, but yet people will turn around and say that GSP doesn't deserve the title shot. I'm just illustrating hypocrisy here.
Yeah, the blatant hypocrisy. Yeah, that is very hypocritical.
No, just saying.
GSP
but if you want to look at it, right? I was about to say
resume.
If you want to look at it from
his
that
body
standpoint,
of work says he deserves that title shot.
Simply because not because of who he is, but because of what he's done. There's a difference between what McGregor has done versus what GSP has done for his career. Not only for his career, but the UFC in itself.
Exactly.
GSP has beaten a who's who. And GSP has had longevity with the belt by defending that belt, and he's also avenged his losses convincingly. I'm going to say it again, convincingly.
Yes, there was no question about it. Convincingly, he avenged his losses.
So you tell me who deserves what more than who? Just saying.
It's amazing. The same people who cheer on Conor McGregor and call him a champion are the same people who call Bisping a paper champion.
I know.
Oh, really?
But either way, injustice keeps being served in front of DJ. Absolutely. The best right now. The best. And not only am I saying that, but St. Pierre even said that at the last presser that they had.
Oh, yeah.
He is the best. I can't do it. As good as you can.
Speaking of St. Pierre.
Exactly.
I want to get into something real quick.
His career.
Let's see if this... Let's see how this plays out.
You know, I had time to take time for myself. You know, I feel rejuvenated, more hungry, and I'm happy. Now I'm gonna be on the other side of the cage. I'm the challenger, so I'm going to challenge the champion for the belt.
The difference is that he can't take steroids anymore because of USADA. That's the main difference. But I tell you what hasn't changed. He's got the same suit on as the last press conference. Come on, George, you got some money, man. Buy a new suit. What the look like a history teacher?
Are you probably drunk like the last press conference?
I would have you up then, and I'll you up now, little guy. You're going to get your ass kicked, and then that's that. George is going to retire. He said, if I don't win, I'm going to retire. Any children here, please listen. If at first you don't succeed, try again. The saying is not, if at first I don't succeed, I'm going to run off and cry like a little That's not the expression, George. That's why I'm sitting here with this thing, and you're not.
I've been underdog before, and it's not a problem with that. It excites me. I love the challenge, and that's why I'm doing it. It's the biggest challenge possible right now that I could find, and I'm ready, and I'm honored, and I feel very privileged to be able to take part of this.
Getting camp situated, getting in and out of it, making sure not to overtrain, just staying, keeping having fun, you know.
You mean bouncing around from camps, you know? You left Colorado, you're around California, you're like a prostitute on the corner bouncing around from gyms.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Okay.
I will be part of.
What's up?
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to concentrate on St. Pierre, yeah.
So now, that brings me to this. November 4th, Madison Square Garden, UFC 217. George St. Pierre versus Michael Bisping for the middleweight title. By the way, Michael Bisping was Conor McGregor before Conor McGregor, you know.
Thank you.
Michael Bisping's been doing this since Conor McGregor hacked me, okay? And he's put in his time, he's paid his dues, and he has earned a super fight with GSP. By the way, that TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt fight, that's going to be good too. Another arch rivals there. That's going to be dope. Joanna Jędrzejczyk facing Rose Namajunas. So we had not one, not two, but three title fights. Live at the Garden.
But you know what the sad thing about this is?
Yeah.
Not that much interest.
Yeah.
And I really want to get into UFC and interest just spiraling downhill, dwindling, just falling flat. Flat like como una lata de soda, you know what I'm saying? Serious. It's facts. They had asked Dana White during this same presser, how are numbers looking for this particular event on November the 4th at MSG? He said, as always, likes to dance around, right? And he says, we won't know until a week leading up to the event. You know, last time I checked, when there's boxing events, or when there once upon a time used to be interest.
Before you go any further. Oh, how ironic is it that he's danced around that question, but yet is so quick to talk about how much money they made at the gate and all this and that and the third, right?
Hold on.
But now all of a sudden he's like, well, we won't know until a week before the event.
Hold on.
Really? Go ahead.
if memory serves correct, back when UFC was actually tolerable,
yeah,
we knew way before a week before the actual event, we knew months in advance, if anything, how interested and into set event people were. Okay,
that's exactly my point. Whenever there was interest, high interest, they were quick to let us know, and no problem telling us.
Before and after the event. More humiliating after the event, but I digress.
Yeah.
Point is, Dana knows that UFC, his product, ain't doing so hot right now.
Nope.
People could give less of a damn about the UFC right now. And may I say, rightfully so. And let me also note, at this last press conference between GSP and Michael Bisping even said, yo, we're in Toronto. Where's your people? Where is everybody? Why is it empty here? Empty in Canada. I want that, folks, I want you to think of that. I want that to simmer in a little bit. Empty in Canada.
For GSP.
What is that? How do you label that? What do you title that? What's that called?
That's a problem.
Only media people were invited? What?
Since when are press conferences only exclusive to the media members?
Exactly.
Since when did that policy was put into place?
You know what probably happened? They probably saw that there weren't too many people who were going to show up at this presser and decided to close it off.
You might have a point there, yeah. But all this dancing around that question is just simply damage control. No.
And why during UFC events, why even if it's a big time fight, why does it sound like there's crickets at the arena?
I know.
When the place is packed?
Or is supposed to be packed.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
You've noticed that, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was weird.
Serious. Like, where the hell is everybody?
We've talked about this in previous podcasts about the effect of the changing of the guard. The effect it's had ever since.
Long term, what do you think happens to the UFC if they continue this path?
They're gonna
fade.
Yeah.
Would you say it's sooner or later that Bellator will begin to trample on the UFC, or has that begun already?
Bellator is coming, man. They are coming.
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later, they are coming.
I want you to, speaking of Bellator, I want you to kind of elaborate on what Mousasi said in terms of the UFC and its working environment, Ness.
Gegard Mousasi, one of the most recent former UFC fighters to go to Bellator. One of the things he said was that the UFC felt more like a factory than a family.
Wow.
Now, Crystal, how does that translate to you?
Well, that's just really sad that that he feels that way, because it shouldn't be like that. You see these people every day. They're just not your coworkers, they're a family, and for him to say something like that, even about the UFC, that says a lot about its flaws.
Mm-hmm. It says a lot about their working environment, how things are run, how yeah.
Slowly things are unraveling. And, that's sad.
It is.
A common factor here is not only is the working environment a quote-unquote insoportable, to put it that way. Another thing that they cap on is the money issue, which we've discussed on here time and time again.
Yes.
But I do have to stress on that, because it's not just us stating these things. It's not just us coming on here on this podcast and talking about we're trying to make the UFC look bad, because that's not the case. We're just giving you guys what's factual. And numerous amount of fighters have come out and said, listen, they're just not giving me what I feel I deserve. Yeah. They're not putting food on my table. They're not taking care of me from a medical standpoint. So what am I to do? And when you have another choice, because back when UFC bought all of its competition, you felt obligated. Okay, you felt indebted to the UFC because that was the only player in town. Now there's Bellator, and when you have somebody else, when you recognize and realize, oh, wait a minute, this ain't all there's to it in the game. I can go elsewhere and be successful. It doesn't need to be a small independent circuit, but I could go somewhere else that's looked upon as major or on the uprise. Then, hey, if these people are going to take care of me when these guys won't, then I'm going to move on out.
I mean, I think it was Demetrius Johnson who said, I better get paid this time, when Joe Rogan was interviewing him. I believe it was him. And like I said, it's slowly coming unraveled.
A lot of people didn't.
To see it now publicly.
A lot of people didn't have a good feeling when they changed the guard. I decided I'd give it a chance. I mean, all things deserve a chance, but boy, this is just bad. The UFC has become the MMA entertainment, so to speak.
Correct.
Yeah, it's become MMA's WWE.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think I spoke about this on the last podcast. I don't recall, but entertainment, we bring that up. Conor McGregor in talks with Vince McMahon for a WrestleMania appearance.
Well, nice to know that Conor is doing everything except preparing to defend the belt.
Yes. Thank you.
See what I mean?
Hold the WWE Championship too? I mean, come on.
You guys see what I mean?
He's under contract with the UFC, but are they making him defend? No.
No. Why?
Because, they should just vacate.
Because the UFC is no longer about promoting fighters and building fighters. The UFC is now about building and promoting superstars. A term that's synonymous with WWE.
Exactly. Leave that to Vince McMahon and them. That's what. Yeah.
Not supposed to be synonymous with the UFC.
And by the way, it's funny you mention that, because that's another thing that Gegard Mousasi highlighted, is that they're no longer about promoting the best fighters and putting on the best possible fights. They're now all about promoting superstars.
I absolutely agree. And look at who they protect more than what? They protect superstars more than they protect fighters.
Correct.
Yeah.
to mess. With how much interest, Ness, do you watch the UFC? And I ask you because you have quite a tenure in watching it.
Yeah, I watch it with minimal interest now. I have gotten to the point now where if I don't watch an event live, I'll watch the post-fight show.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
in terms, how is Bellator striking you?
They're coming, man. They're exciting to watch. They're a reincarnation of Strikeforce.
Now, sticking with MMA, Joe Rogan and company were told not to make note of something on someone. Ness, do you want to elaborate on that?
So apparently the UFC told Joe Rogan and John Anik and Daniel Cormier not to make reference to Kevin Lee's staph infection. For what reason, I have no idea.
What is this? I'm going to ask it. What is this, WWE? We're told what to say in the commentary booth now?
I know.
Apparently so. Yeah.
The more and more I look at it, the more and more this seems like WWE. Really? We're not going to make... Listen, this isn't supposed to be sports entertainment where we keep injuries under wraps.
Right.
This is an actual sport where we make note of something that may impede a fighter and or athlete.
Exactly, because again, this actually affected Kevin Lee's weight cut. Okay, he had trouble making weight as a result of this. So I don't know why they would want to keep that under wraps and just let people assume that Kevin Lee was just being lazy or what have you. Or what.
And I think right now Joe Rogan is at the point, or has been at the point, where he's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm leaving in a few anyway. I don't have to follow no damn protocol. I mean, obviously he doesn't cross several lines, but what he deems as ridiculous, you know what? He's gonna say, "F you, I'm gonna cross this line because it's really not a line to cross."
Exactly. It's not even. Yeah, it's not.
Come on.
Just makes no sense.
Joe Rogan leaves. Is he going to Bellator?
You know what it is? It's just these people just are on a freaking power trip. And yes, if he does leave, he will go to Bellator.
I think he'll be happy there.
And Goldberg is.
You could tell, man. You can tell. Whether he's doing, sideline reporting or commentating, he's in a good place here.
Oh, he's in a great place right now.
And I must say, how dare the UFC not give this man his opportunity to say goodbye to the UFC fans?
They didn't even make any mention of it during the broadcast.
Are you kidding me?
They made no mention of it
20 plus years in this business, in the UFC business, and this is how you treat him? You might as well just stick the middle finger out at him and say F you.
That's pretty much what they did.
You might as well just spit in the guy's face.
Disgraceful.
Piss on the guy while you're at it. Really? This is how you treat a seasoned veteran? Someone who's given you his time, his life.
Exactly.
And this is what they do? This is how they're doing people now? You put a champion in a co-main event as opposed to putting him in the main event, and instead, in his place, in his main event spot, you put a fake-ass championship bout? A bout for a meaningless title that spells nothing more and nothing less than number one contendership? This is what the UFC is doing, the almighty powerful empire that was the UFC. Really? this continues, and I don't know how or where they're going to end up, but right now I wouldn't be surprised if they are suffering the same financial crisis that the WWE has in their hands.
Ugh. Wow.
It's seriously, WWE and UFC, it's like a perfect marriage right now. One holds the other one's hand, and they both commit the same stupid, moronic mistakes. With the difference that at least WWE pays their guys.
Yeah. But, you know, like you said, they're both in the same boat, so to speak. Financial-wise.
Financially, and from what we see on TV. And from what we read in terms of behind the scenes.
Right.
It's unbelievable right now.
It is.
It has no name. It's shameful. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace, especially when you're transporting this type of BS into a sport, into an organization that's supposed to make the sport of MMA look legitimate. Why? Because it is legitimate. Why? Because it's supposed to be legitimate. It's not supposed to be a circus. It's not supposed to be the Connor show. It's not supposed to be everybody else defends their belt except for just because he's your little poster boy. But that's the problem. The UFC has allowed Conor McGregor to become bigger than the company itself. That's what has happened here.
You know, and I don't understand why they just don't call him and be like, look, you have to defend this belt.
You know why? Because at the end of the day, Dana and company are the ones that profit off of what Conor McGregor makes in terms of these super fights, in terms of him fighting outside of the UFC, be it boxing, a boxing promotion, or the WWE coming up.
Wow. That's messed up.
That's really it. There's really nothing more to it.
Wow.
The almighty UFC.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame.
Can nobody take them boys down?
Nope.
Sorry, guys. I guess you guys couldn't hear me. The point I was trying to make is money and power, dude, is what it is. You know? That's what it comes down to. WWE and UFC. Both of them, you know?
Yeah.
They want to project this image or this superstar or whatever, and they think people are stupid. You know, they'll think we'll just take it. You know? And we're like, no.
And I don't understand why the UFC is following the WWE way of things, because at the end of the day, okay, what's supposed to be a show and what isn't? WWE is supposed to be a show. WWE is supposed to be a company built on superstars, which it still follows their formula. Yes, do they put over the right superstar? Absolutely not, because you guys know how I feel about Roman Reigns, but I digress. Going back to the UFC is not supposed to be WWE like. UFC, you got a guy in Conor McGregor who shows up late to conferences, who He's going around throwing water bottles, trying to swing chairs at people, acting very obnoxiously, doing whatever the hell he wants, and it's okay because it's Conor. It's okay because it's their poster boy. It's okay because it is their ticket to grabbing a hell of a lot of cash.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's exactly what it is, yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's crazy.
As we mentioned when talking about the clown show spectacle that was McGregor Mayweather, McGregor is their cash cow, and he's their golden nugget. He's their whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they want to protect their investment. So as a result of that, they let him do whatever the hell he wants.
Exactly.
But for people who sit here and solidify this man as great, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Before, and we will say it again. He is a great fight seller, not a great fighter. There's a difference.
Exactly.
You know what great is? Great is Anderson Silva. Great is George St. Pierre. Great is John Jones. Before all that happened. Great.
Before all the
is Demetrius Johnson.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And furthermore, that in itself is marketable. Contrary to the BS they want to feed you.
Yeah.
That right there is marketable. It sells itself. It should sell itself.
Yeah. Exactly.
When you have somebody like a Conor McGregor hooting and hollering and doing all this pomp and circumstances, he's trying to sell you wolf tickets.
Again, the major problem here, and I think I would even say the biggest problem, along with the biggest problems, is the fact that Conor has been allowed to become greater than the UFC. He's bigger than the company.
Yeah.
He has been allowed to hold not one but 2 weight classes hostage.
Wow. Yeah.
Now I'm going to say this.
And what do we? And now look what's happened. He won lightweight belt last November. We're about almost a year he's been champion. You know what he's done since then? He went out. He fought. He took some time off because he was having a baby, which is understandable. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
He comes back and he fights Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. Now he's in talks with Vince McMahon to appear at WrestleMania. So where exactly is he gonna win? Is the title shot in this? Supposedly he's gonna fight again before this year is over.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly, but yeah, you never know. At this rate,
I hope he gets his ass handed to him.
To quote Tony Ferguson, man, defend or vacate. Defend or vacate. It's that simple.
Exactly. It's crazy, dude. And, well, I mean, like I said, man, and they think even a person like me, even an average person who doesn't watch much UFC, they think they could mess with them and try to, like, get them in the web, if you want to call it that, you know?
I'm glad you mentioned that. You're a casual fan, so how does this come across to you?
It's very gimmicky, man, honestly. Honest to goodness.
I like that word.
It's just hype that's nothing. You know? I mean, I didn't even watch the Maymac fight. I was honestly really tired that night, and I was like, well, I'll find out what happens.
I saw it the next day.
I really didn't care, honestly. I really didn't, and you guys know I really didn't care that much.
And guess what? A lot of casual fans felt the same way. And I'm just talking casual fans.
Dude, and not only that, dude, but for people who put the money down and they can't watch the fight because the stupid server can't handle it. And the way UFC handled that, too. You know? I mean, it's crazy, dude. $100 is a lot of money. That's over a day's work for people. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Right. It's absolutely crazy. And they're like, oh, well, you know, it's not a big deal. I'm like, you guys crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, yeah, dude, it's just insane. Like, I wouldn't watch the UFC if you guys weren't watching it.
Mayweather, they did so much promoting and hyping because they needed to.
Yeah.
It got to the point where they were begging people to buy this fight.
Even the cable companies.
Right, they were giving away tickets and merch and...
That's how bad
they were begging people to... Yeah, they were begging people to buy this fight. That's how bad it got. That's how much... That you know, people... Even the casual fans saw right through the BS and they weren't having it. And they were just begging people to buy this fight.
It's crazy how... Now, after every conference... You'll see forums in which people are typing in the letters WWE.
Yeah.
I used to always say, one has nothing to do with the other. When you talk about entertainment versus legitimate fighting. That doesn't mix and match. It shouldn't. It's not your competition. But right now, again, I'm separating, and I'm always going to separate MMA from wrestling. However, I cannot separate UFC from WWE at this point. Because it's exactly what it's become. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame.
Yeah. Seriously.
And at least for WWE's sake, I could say this much. As much as they protect wrestlers like John Cena, and as much as they protect wrestlers like Roman Reigns, if it comes down to it, when they have to, again, I'm going to say it, when they have to take any measure that of disciplinary, they will. Roman Reigns already got suspended once. Don't think they won't do it again.
Yeah.
Okay? Why? Because at the end of the day, Vince McMahon and WWE understand you're not bigger than us. Whereas the UFC has allowed Conor to become bigger than them.
Exactly. You should never let that happen. You should never let any one person become bigger than the company.
Say what you want about McMahon. Call his product stale. Yes, there are empty seats. Yes, financially they're screwed. Yes, nobody's really showing up to their events. Yes, nobody's really buying their pay-per-views. Yes, WWE subscriptions have gone down. But at the end of the day, guess what? None of these wrestlers, none of these employers, none of these guys are bigger than the company. I don't care if you're Roman Reigns. I don't care if you're John Cena. I don't care if you were The Rock. I don't care if you were Steve Austin, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, on and on. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. They were never bigger than the company. And they shouldn't be.
They weren't.
No.
Do they get perks? Do they get favored? Yes.
Of course.
Are they bigger than the company? No.
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 Conor McGregor has become bigger than UFC.
He has. And it's hurting the UFC.
It is.
They may not see it, but it's hurting the UFC.
Oh, no, they see it. They just don't want to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just it.
They see it.
They just don't care.
Well, because why else would Dana be dancing around that question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right now, he's not pumping out his chest saying, oh, yeah, there's a lot of interest and revenue for this fight. Oh, we already got X amount of buys, and the pay-per-view is a couple of weeks away. Oh, it's a sold-out house. Oh, this and that and this.
Nope. He knows it's jacked up. All is not well in that realm. So yeah, and they think people they don't know, but they're like, no. And even people could tell. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
With what interest do you watch the UFC product now, Crystal?
Now?
Yes.
Like Ness says, minimal interest now. Simply because of everything that's going on behind the scenes. These guys are putting their lives on the line. If you think about it. With weight cutting and all this stuff, and but they're not going to get paid for it? Nah.
Yeah, exactly. It is crazy.
That's not right.
It's absolutely crazy. In a bad way, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, in a very bad way.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned weight cutting, because that's another issue, and it's been an issue, and they do nothing to correct it.
Oh yeah,
that is a major issue.
Right.
I don't hear about these issues going on in boxing because, as we noted, the gap in between weight classes is very minimum.
5 to 10 pounds.
Right. And here they're losing 20, 30 pounds in a very short amount of time, and you can't
in a day.
That's a major problem. Yeah.
In a day.
Yeah,
Forget time. In a day.
That's a problem. That is a major problem.
You can't do that to your body.
Yeah.
Well, you can. It's more like you shouldn't.
Well, yeah.
You should. Yeah, you should not do that to your
But,
body.
you know, your body wasn't made to shed weight like that either.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Because it messes with
That's
your
just not
immune
natural.
system, you know, your kidneys, all that.
Yeah. Exactly. Metabolism, all that crap.
I mean, okay, granted. But all athletes go through weight cutting. Yes, all athletes do go through weight cutting. Basketball players, football players, WWE entertainers, people in New Japan, people in Ring of Honor. Yes, okay, I'm not going to dispute.
But they don't have. But they don't have to. They do not have to cut.
Yeah, just to fit
The way they cut weight is through muscle tone. Okay, I want to be leaner. I want to be leaner for the next couple of months. Okay, now I want to be more buff. You know, but they're not going through that excruciating type of regimen.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
Where it's so fast, you know.
Yeah, and exactly, and they're not cutting a significant amount of weight in a short amount of time.
No, and it's a process.
They're not. That's not. They're not doing that.
You know what I mean? It's a process that they have to go through, and it's not, like I said, your body isn't made
Yeah,
to
exactly.
shed
That's
weight that quickly.
Very unnatural.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You're talking about in 6 to 8 weeks, they got to lose 30, 40 pounds.
Almost 2 months, yeah.
And also, on top of that, train for the actual fight itself.
Yeah.
On top of everything else.
On top of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really jacked up.
I really want to see what happens once DJ has had enough, walks out of there. I want to see what happens once St. Pierre has his last fight, which is pretty soon. I want to see what happens once McGregor decides, hey, you know what, I don't need you guys anymore. Vince paid me more money. I want to see what happens.
I do too. It's very interesting.
And just like wrestling, I hope and wish that all wrestling companies do well. And I hope and wish that all MMA organizations do well. But there are times when you look at the wrongdoings of said company and people and you say to yourself, you know, these people deserve a little kick in the ass.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
And it's not to be cruel. It's not because I have ill will towards people or certain organizations. No. It's just that what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Correct.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Now let's move on. Austin,
That's it.
time for you to take the spotlight, buddy.
Well, today
got
is
some-
it's the start of the NBA season, and it should be really awesome. Let's see. I have to get back in front of my computer really quickly because I want to make sure that when I'm going to present, that I'm correct on what I present. I know there is one game tonight with the Golden State Warriors. That one's at 10:30. Oh man, let's see. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. I'm not sure who it is. But while I look that up, my Magic, we've done a lot of changes over the season. We've got a new GM and president of basketball operations. And I've seen a change in my Magic already, even through the preseason. It's like the team, it seems like they're there for each other. You know, it isn't like last year, because you could just feel the disconnect in the games. It was just very off-putting, and it was hard to watch. I stayed with it because I'm a huge Magic fan. You know, I grew up here in Orlando, and that's all we had until about 3 years ago when Orlando City Soccer came into town. But you know, the Magic is our team. You know, and for a long time we haven't had an identity, if you will. The Magic themselves, they weren't known for something. You know, there wasn't like a Steph Curry, Golden State, things that nature. We didn't have that turn. But I do believe we're going to start to develop that identity. We did some good off-season moves. Did some good moves. And in terms of tonight, we have the Celtics and the Cavs, which that should be a very interesting game, given the trades that have gone on between the two teams.
What do you see in terms of futuristically in terms of the Celtics?
It could be interesting. If I had to make a guess, I'd think that their team will center around Kyrie, because I think to me it seems like that's what he wants, and you know, LeBron is that guy in Cleveland, and I feel like Kyrie wants to be the face of a team, and he couldn't get that in Cleveland, and that's why he wanted to trade. That's just what I feel like. I could be wrong, but
do they bring a good match in terms of posting up against the Cavaliers?
I don't know. That could be interesting. I really don't know. That's something I would have to watch. I'd have to, watch the game and see how it goes. I mean, it's easy to say yeah, because the way that, Kyrie and a couple of the Celtics people are, but you're not going to know until the game starts to be played. So that's just my guess. It'll be interesting to see. It's definitely a very interesting storyline. And I'm actually going to watch that game. Hopefully they have it on the radio here, and if not, I can get it through TuneIn. But I do intend to watch that game. I'm actually legitimately interested, believe it or not. I know I don't watch those two teams, but I really want to watch this game and see what happens.
For the intrigue that it brings.
Yes, it does intrigue me as an NBA fan. It legitimately does. I won't lie there. They got me.
How do you see... Go ahead.
And then today, the next game that we've got is the Rockets and the Warriors. Now, that game, well, Warriors are probably gonna kill it. The Rockets, I don't know much about the Rockets, but I know they're not the Rockets of yesteryear, if you want to call it that. I think they're down towards the bottom of the Western Conference, so the game I'd look out for is Celtics and Cavs for sure. Definitely much more intriguing, in my personal opinion.
How do you see the whole picture playing out in terms of the West?
That's interesting. Oh man, the West. Golden State is obviously going to be towards the top. And then the Lakers, they've got Lonzo Ball. And, we all know about him. I really don't know. The West is a little bit different, too. Some star players have also moved. Utah no longer has Gordon Hayward.
Exactly.
Gosh, what else is there? There's so much that has happened that I'm just trying to get it all in my mind. I just recently got back into researching it.
Now, the West has always more or less been an it factor in terms of there being more competition.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What was I gonna say? Man, I just drew a complete blank, man. But see, while we're talking about the West, okay. I know this is 4 months down the road, but the freaking All-Star game, dude, it's just garbage, dude. It really is, man. It isn't what it used to be, dude. It's just show off, dude, if you want my honest to goodness opinion about the All-Star game. I don't know, dude.
Well, once upon a time, even myself, I used to get hyped up and pumped up over the All-Star game. It was a big deal to me once upon a time, as you like to say, yesteryear.
Yeah.
Now it's just a joke. It's just a spectacle.
No, it really is.
What is the point of that, the All-Star game?
Well, every sport almost has. They have an All-Star game in basketball. They have the. They have it in baseball, you know, and they have little competitions too. Slam dunk competition, 3-point. In baseball, they have the home run derby. In football, they have the oh God, what's it called?
What is it?
Shows you how much I watch the football one.
Isn't that the Pro Bowl?
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, the Pro Bowl. Well, I will admit, the All-Star, sometimes the 3-point and all that is kind of interesting, but the game, it used to be a big deal.
It was a big deal. Because that would set the stage for a lot of things afterwards.
Exactly. But now it's just how many times can, let's say somebody specializes in a dunk. Like, how many times can they dunk, or how many
How many times could you, or how many times
exactly,
or how many times could this individual cross that individual? No,
right? It's just very prideful. People just showing off what they're good at, and it's not very team based. Honestly, It's very, very self-centered. I feel like,
and that's what it was back when. It was very uniformed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, dude, it's really crazy. But that's my personal opinion. And then tomorrow, can't forget about tomorrow, we got the Magic and the Heat, which is always, always, always good. And that is here in Orlando at 7 p.m. I'm really excited for that game, dude. I think that we are finally going to start giving the Heat a run for their money. They've had our number for a little bit. We've beaten them a couple times, but the team that I hope that the Magic can start to beat are the Cavs, because the Cavs, they've had our number for years and years and years, and it's not even close. Like, it's 30 points, 20 points they beat us by. And I think we're going to start to give them a run for their money as well. I do believe that. So,
you've just recently started watching soccer, yes?
Yes.
Now, Crystal, I've introduced you to soccer.
Oh.
How loud are soccer chants?
Woo. Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
They're amazingly loud, but it's so beautiful.
Oh my goodness, dude. Like, I watched that entire Orlando City game the other day.
Here we go.
To give you an idea.
This is from actual soccer events.
Yes, exactly.
I'll play a little bit more of this compilation.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know what soccer now.
Now, is that emotion or is that emotion?
My goodness, bro. I tell you what, dude. You know what that does to me, bro? Like, that makes me want to, whatever that game is on, like, find it through radio and just crank it, man. Just crank the crap out of it, man. That's what makes me want to do, you know?
You could really hear it on TV, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, honestly,
yeah, you really can.
That's what I like about TV versus radio.
Versus radio, yeah.
On TV, you really hear that crowd.
Yeah, it really
I do like the radio for afterward, like after the game is over. That's when I do like it, because you get to see all the, look at those people in Panama, you know? It's just one big party on that street.
But obviously, every sport that we watch invokes emotion. Okay, there are moments that keep us on the edge of our seats, and there are games that are down to the wire. However, soccer's a worldwide sport. FIFA racks in God knows how much money. And of course, in soccer, there are controversies, as there are in every other sport. However, controversies aside, and favoritisms aside, the type of emotion that soccer provokes.
Yeah.
It's a league, it's an organization, it's a sport in which not only one country is represented. It's a plethora of countries. It's a fruit salad of nations.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
And at soccer games, especially if you're an underdog going up against going up against a beast, a monster, a giant, when that underdog triumphs over that monster, the emotion at that stadium, bro, you see tears, you see smiles, you see people just coming together.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah,
even the opposing side, you see them celebrating with you. You know, perfect example
Sometimes.
is Panama versus Costa Rica. Oh yeah.
And not only that, Costa Rica had nothing to lose there, so of course they're going to be gracious.
Yeah.
It'd be a different story if they were playing for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, the emotion that it provokes is out of this world. There is no louder, more lively, more effective, more conducive in terms of getting you hyped up, ready, prepared for an event, more so than a soccer stadium /chant. And there are no announcers like soccer announcers.
In English or Spanish.
Yep, that's right.
It's incredible.
Yep. Man, it's
love
awesome, dude. It's amazing. It really is.
I think Ness went on vacation.
I
have no idea where he's gone off to.
Yeah. I don't know. But let's see, what time is it? It's almost 3:30, dude. So, probably...
Yeah, we're about to bounce out of here, go pay some bills.
Yep, but it was fun, man. The beginning, we were all over the road, but once we got going, it was really good. I definitely thought about some things I hadn't thought about, that's for sure. And, I haven't been here in a month, but man, I miss it, man. I really do. And, I'm excited to talk more in depth about the NBA. I'm really going to pay a lot of attention this year to even teams I haven't really paid attention to, actually.
No
because
doubt.
Doing this podcast makes me want to pay more attention, actually.
No doubt.
I'm going to come on here and have an idea of what I'm talking about.
Without a doubt. But no, guys, if you want more NBA insight, this is the dude. This is the man. This is the guy.
Yes.
It's Austin the Blade, baby.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
See what happens, guys. Maybe a daily, weekly video about NBA. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Been thinking about different content for the channel, so we'll see. Stay tuned to that.
And you know what? Instead of me giving you the send-off, instead of me wrapping things up as I usually do, I'm going to give that responsibility now to, at least for today. I say now as if though that's going to be your permanent job. But everybody knows that I'm the one that steers the ship. I'm the champ that runs the camp. I'm the face that runs the place. I am the master of disaster. That's right. No one before and no one after.
Oh, shit.
But for today, I will let you usher our hooligans and gooligans out the building. Take it away.
All right. Well,
Star Fox. Oh, see what I did there? I pulled Austin in.
You had me ready. I was like, well, I've been on the spot all day long. I'm ready to go, buddy. I had your back. I was like, well, let's do it. I'm Johnny on the spot today, so I just filled that role.
Suckered him right into it. Go ahead, Star Fox. Take it away.
Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends to tell your friends to tell your friends. Share with your family members as well. We love you guys. Show us some love. You know, anything you guys want us to talk about, not talk about, let us know. Because we're here for you guys. This is Star Fox for EMT Hooligans. See ya.
What, I had to.